Hello and welcome to a special edition of our Prep Rally Scoreboard show. I'm Rob Hernandez. He's Dennis Semrau, and Level 1 is almost all in the books, Dennis. And boy, what an opening, what night it was in the postseason. A certain three-time defending state champion trailed at halftime. At least three area teams avenged regular season losses in Level 1 of the postseason. 7 seeds beating 2 seeds, 8 seeds beating 1 seeds. A crazy night across the area.
That says a lot for seeding last weekend, doesn't it?
Not sure what it says.
The Wanakee one, though, Pat Rice likes to defer the kickoff so they get the ball to open the second half. And I believe in every game they've trailed, they've come back and scored on that first series, and they did again tonight.
Okay, well, Dennis, the game that probably won the top prize for the most exciting was the game you were at. Reedsburg, Madison Edgewood at Brighton Box Stadium. Division III opener, and of course, if it's Reedsburg, we're probably talking about Brian Pottinger, the Beavers head coach, and a gutsy call. Why don't you tell us what happened at the end that allowed Reedsburg to move on?
Well, they give up a 72-yard pass play in the first minute. They think we're gonna have a pretty good game here. Well, it was 10-7, and right at the end, on a punt, Jake Dragoo on a little quick kick puts the ball on the 7-yard line. 2:20 to go. Reedsburg has to go 93 yards. And this is the flex ball, and they don't pass the ball very often. 17 pass attempts on the last drive. 19 plays,
Holy
93
cow.
yards, capped by a 1-yard touchdown run by Austin Westerwelle as time expired. And Austin Shavink, remember that name, sophomore quarterback. He's played a lot the last couple weeks, got his first start tonight, and made the most of it.
He sure did. Holy cow. 13-10 the final as Reedsburg, the Beavers, get a Level 2 home game now, Dennis, against Southern Badger Conference champ Monona Grove. The Silver Eagles spot Wisconsin Dells a 7-0 lead, then score 57 unanswered to win that one, 57-7. MG at Reedsburg next week.
Well, I'll tell you, Reedsburg's had to play back-to-back Wanakee, Mount Horeb, Barneveld, and DeForest. Then Edgewood. Now they're making their tour of the Southern Badger, and with another champion there.
That's right. So the big ball game next week there. Similar situation in the bottom half of the bracket in the area in Division III. Mount Horeb Barneveld takes care of business against Monroe. They win 41-6 tonight, a game I was at Mount Horeb. But the Vikings, Dennis, must hit the road for Level 2. They play at McFarland next week because the Spartans avenged a regular season loss, beating Evansville Albany 34-7. Mount Horeb Barneveld hitting the road to play an old Capital Conference rival.
Yes, and they've played in non-conference at the beginning of the season for a couple of years, so that's going to be one we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think
don't predict that one ahead of time.
The other Division III games tonight, Jefferson avenged a regular season loss to East Troy, pounding the Trojans tonight 63-13. Next up for Jefferson, perennial power Wisconsin Lutheran. They also hung 63 points on the board tonight, 63-26 over Whitnall. Let's go to Division I, Dennis. Our WisconsinPrepZone.com game of the week at Sun Prairie, where the Cardinals buried Madison Memorial 45-20. Dylan Carter with 2 interceptions for Sun Prairie, which didn't allow any Memorial points to late in that ball game. Sun Prairie sending a statement they might be for real.
Well, unfortunately for the Cardinals, their 4-game streak ended of shutouts. Almost 5 games.
Almost 5 games.
But you look at, again, Sun Prairie loaded for bear, and next week, one step closer to Camp Randall, where they last were in 1995, a long time ago.
Elsewhere, they will play Madison West. The Regents tonight get past McWanago 22-7. That's the West's first playoff win since 1981. And also in Division I around the area, Sussex-Hamilton hammered Middleton 44-9, and Verona held off Oconomowoc 22-13. It'll be Sussex-Hamilton, Verona at Verona next week in Level 2, Madison West at Sun Prairie. A couple of real solid matchups. Didn't you say West and Sun Prairie didn't meet in the regular season?
Did not meet during the regular season, so we were looking for a possible Memorial Middleton matchup. They didn't meet during the regular season. That's not going to happen. We were hoping for maybe a Middleton-Verona rematch.
That's right.
Stole you a pizza on that one. But Sun Prairie and West, that'll be a great game.
Moving along, Division II, 3-time defending state champion Wanakee, as we mentioned, fell behind 7-0 at the half to Wilmot. Needed 21 fourth-quarter points to pull out the 28-7 win. Dennis, next up for the Warriors, their annual postseason meeting with DeForest, and it's going to be at DeForest because the Norskis go on the road as the 5 seed tonight at Fort Atkinson and roll 38-14. Wanakee at DeForest, does that change anything?
That was supposed to happen this year with the scheduling,
sure.
But that was one of the benefits of the 9-game season. The 8 Wanakee ended up they had a redraft, and DeForest went on the road, but they get a home game and a new stadium. I mean, they've really redone the stadium. And Mike Minnick and Brett Minnick, his son. Hopefully, the Minnicks will have They've been looking. They've been looking for one against Wanakee. They got it in basketball, but not in football yet.
Not in football. Maybe happen next week. 45 in a row for Wanakee. Bottom half of the bracket: Watertown clobbered Burlington 49-14, and Waukesha West, the 7th seed, edged last year's state runner-up Waterford 14-12. Now, as everyone out there can see all the results from tonight's games, whether it be postseason, the +1 games, a handful of those tonight, and the 8-man football game, Abundant Life beat Stockbridge tonight on wisconsinprepzone.com. But I did want to get to a couple key games in the other divisions. Division 4, Marshall defensive back, and I hope I'm saying this right, Izzy Salas. He's just a sophomore. He broke up Winnicotting's potential game-winning conversion pass on a 2-point conversion try with no time remaining. The Cardinals escaped with a 34-33 win. I would have thought Brian Pottinger was coaching that game if they're going for 2 in the win there. Marshall now will hit the road for Freedom. An 8 seed beat a 1 seed. Freedom beat Chilton, a 1 seed, 20-6 tonight. That prompted the Irish to be able to host that game next week. But Marshall just happy to get out with a win.
Wow, that's incredible, especially for it to go down right to the wire like that. And there's been talk about the Cardinals not playing a tough enough schedule because they're playing smaller schools, and then they've got to play up big in the playoffs. Well, they came up big tonight. Division 5, what a great opening night it was for the Mississippi Valley Conference, but unfortunately it kind of got the best of the Cuba City Cubans. In Cuba City tonight, the Cubans lose 32-20 to La Crosse Aquinas. Michael Conway, the blue-gold 6'4" quarterback, by our stats, rushed for 191 yards, threw for 164 in a winning effort. So Aquinas upsets Cuba City on the road in D5, but the teams they play in their conference, La Crosse Logan, La Crosse Central in Division 2, both winning games tonight. La Crosse Central beat Merrill, but the real eye-opener, La Crosse Logan, a 7 seed, knocked off Menominee. That tells you a little bit about how good that Aquinas team was that went to Cuba City tonight. Definitely, and Menominee, for them to go in the first round, that's pretty unheard of.
Pretty rare. Division 6, the only area game tonight played was in Livingston, where Iowa Grant blanked Pecatonica Argyle 40-0. Tucker Sarbacher, 148 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Panthers. Division 7, Belmont almost pulled off an 8-1 upset as at Randolph. The Rockets needed a Duke Vandergallion touchdown catch midway through the fourth quarter to pull out a 17-14 win over the Braves. A couple other games in Division 7 of note. Johnson Creek avenged an earlier loss to Rio with a 16-6 win. And Burlington Catholic Central goes on the road to South Wayne and eliminates Blackhawk for the 3rd year in a row, 14-12. Whew. Quite an opening night. We got games tomorrow too. You'll be at Broadhead Judah, where the Cardinals take on Campbellsport. I'll be in Deerfield, where Darlington and Deerfield will hook up in a Division 6 clash. We've got Lake Mills and Lakeside Lutheran, a handful of other games. But for opening night, it was really we talk about following along on Twitter. It was hard for me to pay attention to my game at Mount Horeb because I'm looking at Wanakee. I'm looking at all these 8-1 games that are going down the wire. It was a crazy night. It would have been fun to have them all like on a big screen TV and flip around. I
would have liked to spend more time watching stuff, but I was pretty interested in my game.
Yeah, that's
Keeping
true.
Track of that one tonight, right down to the wire. And like you said, a 19-play drive, one for the ages for the sophomore quarterback, Shavink, and again Brian Pottinger. They after 5 wins, 3 straight losses, and what a way to keep their season going.
Definitely. Reedsburg, the big winner tonight over Edgewood. So, hey, there's most of your scores tonight. Again, check out the rest on wisconsinprepzone.com. And again, throughout the weekend with our high school sports coverage, cross country, football, soccer, volleyball tomorrow, and we'll be back here next week wrapping up week 2, or level 2 of the WIA playoffs. For Dennis Sumrall, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching the Scoreboard Show. We'll see you next week.